Hey guys, this is RC Upgrades and Reviews, and today we're going to be learning how to replace a bearing and clean out your diff case for your rear differential of your Traxxas Summit. One of my bearings popped on my Summit, well, actually both of them, and not only did they just pop, but if you can see, it's completely gone. You can kind of see that. If I take this off, here's one half of the drive, and the other half is actually on my truck. But he removed part of it, and I left it at the hobby shop. But the mechanic, this is basically what happened. So there's supposed to be a bearing there, and there isn't. And it's just very messed up. Next, you're going to need a 2mm hex wrench, a 2.5mm, and a 2mm. Next, you're going to need a carb and choke cleaner, and also I would recommend, for more precision, to use a straw. Next, what you're going to need is you're going to need this stuff, which is white lithium grease, after the fact, to grease it up. And I would also recommend using a straw with this. Next, you're going to need the Traxxas 517 or 5117 bearing set. Ball bearings, which are 6 by 12 by 4mm, and it has 2 of them. You need these. I got this at my local Hobbytown, USA for $4. Also, since I didn't actually know it was happening, I actually wore down my gears, so I needed to get a new gear set. These are pretty expensive since they're made of steel. It's model number 5379X, and it was $15 at Hobbytown. So, got the pinion gear, and we have the ring gear. Next, you're going to need a old toothbrush or something of the like, just something to scrub with. And they're also going to need a bunch of cotton swabs. So carb cleaner, white lithium grease, Q-tips, toothbrush, and of course your parts, and a straw. So let's get going. Okay, so we're gonna do this. All 5 of my screws are out. Now we can just separate the case. Voila. Okay, so here's the casing. And it has the diff in here. Next, also in the casing, you're going to want to take this out, which is what is used to lock and unlock your differential. If you can see that. It just spins and locks it. Okay, so we're going to need to take that out. Now we have our dirty case. Also on this side, there should be this pinion gear in here, and you just tip it upside down and it should fall out. Okay, so there's my grimy pinion gear. Kablam. Okay, so put that off to the side as well. Next, we are going to basically scrub the inside of this case with cotton swabs, toothbrush, and carb cleaner. So we have our carb cleaner. And we'll put in my straw. Should be nice and tight. Shouldn't fall out. And then this says shake thoroughly, so shake thoroughly. Okay, got cotton swab, and I'm gonna spray it. This evaporates really quickly, so just start cleaning this out. Now the reason we're cleaning this out is because when you blow a bearing, there are all these little tiny balls inside of it. These balls are very, very tiny. Let me see if I can find one. That is one of those balls, and that's on my thumb. So they're really tiny. They can hide really easily, so we want to make sure we clean everything out of here. Yeah. And now I'm just kind of cleaning out all of that carb cleaner. It looks pretty clean in there, right? Most of the grease is out. Okay, so this half is done. Okay, that's done. It's all shiny. But now comes the time where you need to clean off this guy. Okay, so this guy is pretty much clean. I'm gonna replace this ring gear on here and this pinion gear because they got pretty beat up because basically what happened was, let me demonstrate. This gear, okay, was in the case. And since this bearing was loose that was attached to this, it was able to slide around, so it was making a clicking noise. So basically it was just like skipping because the gear would allow it to pop out, if that makes sense. So it's kind of beat up. You can see this. This is pretty bad. This is pretty badly worn. And then, no, stay focused on my hand. Then this ring gear is also pretty beat up. So I am going to replace those through the power of screws. I removed this big bearing and I'm going to take off this ring gear. There's 4 screws right there. You can just barely see them, but it's good enough. I'll still distracted. And I'm basically just going to remove it completely. Okay, so now I'm going to take apart this ring gear thingy and use my baby safety scissors. Okay, so once I take this off, which has lots of oil, so don't take it off the wrong way. You're just going to want to lean that somewhere, make sure it stays upright. And then basically what should happen is this just comes out very simply. Okay? I'm also going to lean that on something. And quickly I'm going to, come on. Take this new set apart. Come on! Okay. So we have the new, ooh, you hear that? But what we're going to do is we're just going to take this, we're just going to push it out. On the old ring gear, what you're going to need to take off is there's this little rubber gasket, okay, and you can just lay it over top of the new one. So you're going to want to take your diff, and you're going to want to put this guy back on top of here. Make sure you line up the screw holes. Now what you want to do when you're taking apart when you're putting back together diff, is you're going to want to keep it vertical until all screws are fully tightened down. Sorry that I'm not getting too many shots. This is the first time ever I'm actually getting past taking my diff assembly out. Like, I've taken it out before, but I haven't ever actually opened it. So now what we're going to do, take this lithium grease and spray it inside this case right here. Now I'm going to spray this guy. Okay, so I put that back in there and spin it around. And it should, oh god. Okay. Don't do that. But when you spin it, it should kind of glide. You shouldn't really make any noise other than the bearings moving. And so on and so forth. So next, you're going to take these guys. We're going to open this. We got our bearings here. And we can pop them into, you can move in. Pretty much what I'm saying. Might have a bit of a tight fit. And new bearing is in. You can see it. It's very glossy. It's brand new. Alright. Let me put the new one on the outside of the differential casing. There we go. New bearing. New bearing. Okay? And if we pop this guy in, he should be super smooth. Ah, that's better. I'm actually going to grease these bearings while the pinion is out. Now that's out, I'm going to put the pinion in to the casing. Sorry that I'm not getting that many shots, guys. And then I'm going to grease this up. Okay? So white lithium grease is in. And if we close this back up, I just greased the whole case as well. Just close this back up. Ah, it should be very smooth. Ah, yes. Very smooth. Smooth pinion. That's what we want. Okay, so now that this is back together, I'm gonna go wash my hands real quick. Then we can slap this Summit back together and we can watch it become what it is. And this toothbrush, by the way, you can get rid of it. Yeah, Summit's done. I will see you guys when I'm putting this back together. I'll probably do time lapse.